Filling out your retirement application doesn't have to be daunting. In this video, we will review completing a joint pension application step by step so you know what to expect. The Trust Fund Office advises you to apply 2 months before you plan to retire. For example, if you would like to retire in December, we advise you apply in October. Your date of retirement must be the first of the month. The Trust Fund Office has 180 days to process your application timely. Incomplete applications that have been open for longer than 180 days will be closed, and you will need to start the process again. Gathering all required documents in advance, completing your application correctly, providing clear copies of all required documentation, and responding promptly to any follow-up requests from the Pension Department will prevent unnecessary delays when it is time for your application to be processed. Once you have contacted the Pension Department and informed them that you are ready to retire, you will receive your joint pension application in the mail. The packet is 28 pages long and contains 3 main sections. The first section is your application checklist and instructions. The second section is the actual retirement application. The third section contains informational material for you to review and keep for your records. The application checklist is a big picture overview that will prepare you for filling out your pension application. As you move through the application, you will complete your personal information, choose your type of retirement, sign the front page of your application in front of a notary, union local, or trust fund office representative. You may choose to save this step for last. Fill out your detailed employment history, assemble clear copies of your required documents to submit, and answer a question that asks if you received state disability or workers' compensation benefits after March 1, 1992. Check off the steps on page 3 as you go. Let's look more closely at documents. You will need to provide copies of all documents that apply to you. Do not send original documents. A birth certificate is the most commonly used document to demonstrate proof of age. If you do not have a copy of your birth certificate, you have many alternate options to choose from, such as a valid passport or valid real ID. A full list of acceptable documents are listed on page 4. You must submit one document from Section A, or 2 documents listed under Section B. If you are married, you will need to provide a copy of your spouse's birth certificate or other acceptable proof of age document from the options on page 4, and your certified marriage certificate. If you were married in Nevada prior to July 1st, 1987, the book and page number are required. Please note that a copy only signed by the clerk is insufficient. You must provide a certified copy of the certificate received after the marriage was registered. If you are missing your certified marriage certificate, you may request a new copy from the clerk of the city or county where the license was issued. There may be a small fee. Some cities or counties may allow you to submit the request online. If you are applying for surviving spouse benefits and the member was not yet retired, also known as a vested member, this applies to you. Please submit a copy of the certified marriage certificate and birth certificate or other acceptable proof of age document for each of you. If you were in the military during your time in the Union, you will need to submit a copy of your military discharge papers. If you have been widowed and are applying for surviving spouse benefits, you will need to submit a copy of the certified death certificate with cause of death listed. If you are divorced, you will need to submit a copy of the divorce final judgment, including any attachments referenced in the judgment. If you do not have a copy, you can request one from the county where you got divorced. Depending on the county, you may be able to submit a request online or call. If you have been divorced multiple times, include the divorce final judgment for each former spouse. Be aware that you will also fill out a divorce affidavit to be reviewed later in this video. If you were married and divorced prior to your time in the industry, you do not need to provide a divorce judgment. You should write the date of the divorce in the application. If a former spouse has passed away, You may submit a copy of the death certificate. The question at the bottom of the checklist asks if you received state disability or workers' compensation benefits after March 1, 1992. If you answer yes, you will need to submit copies of your benefit payment statements. Sign, date, and write in your Social Security number. Page 5 contains instructions for the next section. The retirement application begins on page 7. Please note, if you are a surviving spouse, you will fill out this section from the perspective of the vested member. The vested member will be the applicant, and you, the surviving spouse, will be listed in the spouse section. Fill out your information, including your name, address, phone number, sex, social security number or member ID number, date of birth, and email. In the All Other Names section, include all names you have ever been known by, including maiden name, if applicable. You can write maiden name or another description, such as first marriage, widowed, or step-parent's last name, following the name for additional clarity if you'd like. If any of the names are from previous marriages, consider if you have included all requested documents related to the relationship. If there is no matching documentation or explanation for one of the names you have been known by, the pension department will need to contact you to ask about it, to confirm you have properly disclosed all relevant relationships and are not missing any required documents. This can delay the processing of your application. Fill out your date of retirement. This must be the first day of whichever month you choose to retire in. Fill out the last day you actually worked. This must match the last date of work your employer submits for you. If there is an issue, we will contact you. This can delay the processing of your application. If you are married, fill out the spouse information and include your spouse's full Social Security number. List all dates of divorces. Fill out your last employer. This will be your last employer, regardless of if they were in the industry or not. Indicate if you have ever worked in the industry outside of Northern California. If yes, list the location and dates. If you do not remember the exact dates, enter the months and years, or just the years. Finally, if you were a UFCW union member, list your most recent local. In the middle section of the page, select the type of pension you are applying for. Stop here. You must sign the bottom section of the page in front of a notary, at the union local office in front of a union benefit clerk, or at the trust fund office in front of a TFO representative. You may choose to save this section for last, moving on to your work history on page 8. When you are ready to sign, you can commonly find a notary at your bank or credit union, or certain businesses. There will typically be a small fee for notary services, and an appointment may be required. If you cannot easily leave your residence, a traveling or mobile notary may be an option for you. A mobile notary will come to you for an additional cost. We also accept signatures witnessed through notarize.com. If you choose to sign and date in front of a notary, confirm that the date written by the notary matches the date next to your signature. Accidental mismatches can happen. If the dates do not match, the notarization will not be valid and you will have to redo it. Please note that the notary, union local, or TFO representative will need to see your photo ID, such as a valid driver's license, current passport, or state-issued ID. There is no charge to sign at the union local office or at the TFO. A complete work history is critical to giving you all possible credit you are eligible for. The first section is for your employment history in the industry within Northern California. In other words, your Northern California UFCW union positions. Include the name of the store or company, the city you worked in, the position you held, and the dates you worked in that position. If If you are currently working in your listed position, write present in the to section. If you do not remember the month you began or ended some of the positions, the year is sufficient. The second section is for your work history during which you were not in a union position in the industry in Northern California. This includes any military service, state disability, exempt employment in California, such as the corporate office of a union employer, UFCW employment outside Northern California, work in another industry or trade, self-employment, or other. If you are not retiring directly from your employment in the industry, fill out the third section with your work status from the last state of industry employment. It is imperative to include all your work history, in and out of the industry, employed and unemployed. When you are done, review your work history for any gaps. Each year should overlap or follow directly after another. If you notice any gaps, correct them now. If the pension department identifies any gaps in your work history, they will need to contact you to confirm what you were doing at that time. This can delay the processing of your application. You will need to fill out a divorce affidavit and provide copies of all documents listed, including court orders, settlements, or marital property agreements concerning the potential division of your pension benefits. If you have been divorced multiple times, you must complete an affidavit for each. Photocopy the blank page if you need additional copies. Please note that your first pension payment will be mailed to you as a physical check. If you choose to set up direct deposit, your following pension payment and all future payments will be direct deposited into your account. Direct deposit is the fastest and most reliable way to receive your pension. To set up direct deposit, sign and return the checking account direct deposit authorization form with a voided check, or one of the other options listed in the form. The direct deposit form will also be available to you during the final processing of your retirement application. You may also request one at any time. Pages 13 through 28 contain informational material for your reference. This information covers the different types of pension benefits and important rules applicable to the pension plan, including reemployment rules and suspendable service, receiving pension benefits before normal retirement age, deferring benefits beyond normal retirement age, and the 30-day notice requirement and waiver, which may be relevant to you if you are married and planning to retire very soon, less than 30 days away from when you received the notice in your application packet. Review this information and keep it for your records. If applicable, a copy of the waiver will be mailed to you later. You are ready to submit your application. Keep a photocopy of the application for your records. If the pension department needs more information from you, they will reach out to you at the phone number you have on file with the trust fund office. If your application is accepted, your choice letter will be sent to your home address. If you have any additional questions about filling out your joint pension application, please contact the pension department at 800-552-2400, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Congratulations on your upcoming retirement.